Hey, what's up, social media family? It's Chris, your favorite coach, your favorite host, coming at you again with another edition of Conversations with Chris. I'm having a weird technical thing here. I got a green. It's so weird with this, the way that it's working right now. I'll probably end up turning it off because it's awfully distracting. But I'm so excited to be here with Christine. She's after my own heart, somebody that's kind of came from the corporate world, got into coaching and helping other people develop and kind of follow their dreams and their passions. And, Dream Key Consulting, do what you love. It's what I'm all about too. So without further ado, welcome Coach Christine. Hey, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Super excited to do this on a Friday.
That's a pleasure, right? Thank God it's Friday,
How was Wisconsin?
Oh, it's amazing. Jeez, man, it's a trip of a lifetime, kind of going snowmobiling up, 150 miles there and back. Well, it's 300 total, and seeing Lake Superior completely frozen like that is pretty cool.
Cool. Nice to see you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your story, and it's pretty interesting, like what you've gone through and coming from kind of corporate America and then deciding to kind of go on your own and follow your passion and help other people do the same thing. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I am a corporate warrior, so I carry that badge. I've spent 25 years in the corporate world, but a couple things were unique about my corporate journey. Number one, I was almost always the only woman at the table. So I worked in heavily male-dominated industries, 9 of them, in fact. And I worked across job functions. So I started my early career in marketing and branding. That led me to really liking working with clients. And I'm like, great, we have a beautiful idea. We have somebody who wants to buy into it. Why the hell can't we make it happen? And I ended up in operations. But it is the story of reinvention. And in my journey, I've also lived around the world, 5 countries and 30 cities.
Wow.
But I always knew that I would want to do something for myself. And I have done everything from startup to big business. But my passion is helping businesses be successful on their own terms, because the answer is not corporate America. The answer is not working 60 to 100 hours a week, building somebody else's dreams. I was there. I did that when I was 28, loved it. But when I hit my 30s, I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure I want this so much anymore. And so I knew I would do something. And 5 years ago, I hit a plot twist in my own career. 1,400 kilometers away from home, walked into the hotel lobby and went, holy shit. That's HR and my boss, I'm about to be fired. They got on a plane, went home. I did not. I just spent 17 hours in a hotel far from home going, what just happened to my life? It's time to start building for myself. And I launched my first business, but that catalyst of starting my first business led to my coaching. I didn't set out to be a coach per se, but I've always mentored other people to be successful. And a good friend of mine said, how are you building a side hustle, an hour a day on top of your corporate life? And in fact, seeing your business double every year, and I see you spending the weekends in the mountains.
That's right.
You're doing other things. What are you doing differently? Because I want some of that. And I offered, of course, kindly just to help. But she turned around and said, I've got 5 people that want you to run a workshop to teach them to do this. Would you? I was like, light bulb. Sure, love to. And it birthed my coaching business. So today I help businesses scale. I help them get out of the struggle and help them actually figure out, how to take idea into implementation, because your dreams matter and you can be successful, but you don't have to be a lone wolf, and there's no joy in the struggle. It's not necessary.
It's so interesting. So I shared some of the kind of the same story, and it's, so they asked you, hey, would you do this workshop, or and you were just like, sure, no problem. Not everybody would have, from any background, would have been like, yeah, so easily can I write a course, a workshop, and be able to share what I've done. So what in your journey, when did you start to realize that it was kind of like your calling to be able to share this and be able to articulate it at a high level and help other people grow? That's not something that it didn't seem like that was something that you learned in your journey, really. It was just something born in you.
Yeah, I think it's because when you've done both startup and you've done big business, that's highly unusual. But that is my story. And I survived and thrived actually in both ends, loved and hated both elements. But what it taught me was, when you were in high growth, and when I started startup, I was headhunted to do a startup pre-dot-com boom, all the way through it when young in my 20s. It was about, if I had an idea, I turned around and went, that's your job, go figure it out. But very quickly I learned I had to be able to deconstruct the job, because I could hire somebody to come in and fill what I had learned to do. And then I went on to the next problem. And so that cycle of learn, be able to teach, and move on was something that I learned really early in my career. And it made me very successful when I was in the big business side of the world, because there was a lot of systems, and the systems were about collaborating, getting people aligned to the system, not so much about creating new systems from scratch.
Okay.
And so when someone said, could you teach me this? I was capable of saying, what were the steps I took?
Yeah.
And how did I do it? And I was only spending an hour in my business. So it was like, what do I do every day for an hour? Well, 50% of my time was income producing activities. What did that look like? And then it was also, what do I need to be myself to grow to the next level? So it wasn't something that I thought really was hard. It was more of, okay, how did I do this? And can I teach somebody? And that was a natural gift. And it's led very successfully in my coaching business, because when I see clients struggle today, I have that light bulb of, oh, you know what? You need to maybe enhance your presenting skills, which is how you and I met, because speaking is the fastest way to cash. If you cannot convey your ideas and speak confidently, you will struggle to connect and leave opportunity behind you. So suddenly I'm like watching this happen. I'm like, I can teach that. I know how to do that because I do it very well. And it then creates another course or element of what I can give to help people on their journey. And so that's sort of how it all came together. And it never seemed to stretch to me.
Yeah. I know it's what seems to come so easily for people like us in certain regards. Seems difficult for other people, and we don't get that, right? So it causes you to look at what you've done. Wait a second, let me see. So I've done this. It did come easily, but I never had to kind of unpack it and dissect it and figure out what really was the engine behind that, making that tick. And then on the other side of that, man, with the weaknesses, I don't know if you're experienced with this, but I mean, speaking came very naturally to me, speaking and coaching and all that kind of stuff. But then all the detail stuff, man, getting systematic and putting things into writing really forced me to kind of see the power of systems and processes and documenting things, and then leveraging tools and technology, which helped compensate for my weaknesses. So that's a benefit people can learn from both the things that you're good at as well as maybe the challenge that you had. I mean, so on that subject, what were some of the challenges you had on your way up that you kind of like overcame? And now that you overcame those things, would be a huge value to somebody working with you.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things we think about is we struggle with, what are you actually offering for services and what are your skill sets? Because you don't see them. Sometimes that's where, you say to me, taking something and deconstructing is not usual. And I'm like, well, it was usual for me, but I didn't know that till you said it wasn't natural.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we get into, what do I want to deliver? But you need to be always listening to what do they need and can I successfully, consistently, repeatedly deliver it? And when you get into that little switch, that 1 millimeter switch, is suddenly like, wow, your business can really explode.
Sure.
And so it is listening of what do I actually think you need, and not what do I think I want to deliver. But then I go, oh, I've got capabilities in that area. And then how can I teach these capabilities to other people? So for me, one of the struggles was, trying to put square peg into a round hole. When you think you start telling people about what it is you do, it doesn't matter what you do. The number one question you should be asking is like, what do you think I do? Because sometimes there's a disconnect. And often that led to me going, oh, I need to rethink this and I need to improve my clarity. But for me, when I started my business, it's morphed a lot. And what I tell people, and the struggle I think we all imagine isn't going to happen to us, is that we start in one direction and dominoes fall, but you never anticipate how it will morph and change. And you need to be resilient. You need to be listening, because if you're struggling uphill, you're struggling.
Yeah.
So it doesn't need to be struggle. It really doesn't. And the great thing about coaches, and you and I are so passionate about, not only as that a profession, but we seek it for ourselves, is the knowledge that we can get there more quickly with less struggle, faster, by asking somebody who's already been where we want to go, how did you do it? And so I'm in chapter 10. I say to people all the time, I'm in chapter 10. You're in chapters 1 to 9. I am still just like you, just further in my journey. I still have the same struggles, but I don't embrace the struggle. I see it, move past it, and go, I need support here, because I am not glorifying the struggle anymore in my life.
Well, it's I love the way you do that, kind of like that, using it, relaying it to the chapters of a book. Like we're all on the same journey. And when you kind of switch gears from the struggle, if it's a struggle, it's not worth it, right? Because some people, I'm writing a chapter in a book on success, and I just have to do 1,500 words. Like, where do I start with 1,500 words? It's like, first of all, it's how do we define success? And I think too many people make it some kind of whimsical ending point, some kind of place where you arrive at, instead of really kind of switching gears and saying, man, if this sucks, why am I doing it? Like, I should really enjoy the process. It's like, I was talking to a client earlier about this, about how when we see like a rock star, you see a musician on stage performing for, a million people. We don't also see when they were really broke, living in their basement, like really struggling to pay the bills, eating ramen noodle. But that person loved it so much, they stuck with it. And that type of person, that type of artist or musician really enjoyed that journey. And that's the only way that they made it to where they did. So why don't we apply that? Why don't we apply that passion and that viewpoint to what we're doing for business, and we're growing our business? And that's, I think that's so important. Let's see, something's coming in the chat here. Who's this? Brett Boji, he loves don't glorify the struggle.
Yeah.
Yes.
It really blew my mind yesterday. I was at a scaling workshop and someone said, are you prepared for it to be easy? And I was like, say what? It really was it was a great hook, got my attention, but it's true because where I think coaching plays a role is it doesn't need to be a struggle. You can find ease in the journey, but you did really had a good comment there. It's, we have to have the vision that pulls us forward. There is no overnight success. Effort is required, but you must really think about, where do you play? And I think it's so true when you're leaving corporate, or you're contemplating a side hustle or a full-time entrepreneurship journey, one of the biggest things you need to recognize is that you get to define success. And one of the reasons you're maybe not happy where you are in corporate or in other elements of your life is because there's that dissonance. That definition that I have subscribed to no longer fits me. What I wanted, I said when I was young, isn't what I want now. And so I have a really great free resource. I can put it out there to the community. It's like, what does success look like for you in this chapter? What will it look like in the next one? Redefine it for yourself, because that's the first place that will open opportunity for you. It's going, I don't want that. I want this instead. And it's not job titles. It's not salary. It's not the labels. It's more intrinsically, how do I want to play?
Yeah. Being super clear about what you want and, how you want to occur. And I love how you were saying that we go through evolutionary process, and there's different points that we want different things. We want to contribute different things. We want to learn different things. But I think the consistent journey that we go through is one of first personal development, where we're kind of students first, and we're going out there and we're learning, and we never stop learning. But now, like, kind of looking at it from a different perspective, like, I never know what I'm going to learn that I'm going to need someday in the future to bring back to someone else. And it's
so true.
Learning from mistakes leave clues, success leaves clues. So just learn from those before you, right? And there's value to that. You mentioned a free tool that you put out there. I mean, is there a URL you want me to get up here, or?
Yeah, you could drop it. It's my domain name, which is ChristineCampbellRapin.com. Right on the homepage, you're going to find two great resources. One is the 3 myths you're buying into. So if you're in an entrepreneurial journey, watch the 3 myths, because busting them will be fundamental to your success. But the second thing is there's a visualize your future worksheet. It's a free download. It is going to help you go, what does success look like? What do I really want? And if you're ever in a struggle, drop it and figure out, what do you actually want? And it's a really great resource. It is something that I actually wrote about in a book that's going to be released this year, because I think it's so important. What are the questions to ask? And you need to sit with it. You need to go, does that really feel true? Or am I listening to somebody else's voice in my head? And finding your own voice is a very powerful thing. It doesn't happen overnight either, but it's a journey. And this tool hopefully will help you find 10 aspects of it so that you start to go, this is really what I think I'm wanting. And then you start to see it come to life.
So it's questions to ask yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that. That's what a great way to get started. So I posted it in the comment, so if you guys look underneath this video, there'll be a link there to the website. You can just kind of click on that and go ahead and download it. It is there. Thank you guys for jumping in and contributing. I know you got to get going, Christine. Is there anything that's really pressing that you really want to leave the folks with before we let you go to your next thing? I know you got to get moving here.
Thank you for that. I have one thing, and I'm actually speaking next week, and this is going to be something, if you can't come live, please come and register. It's a free complimentary event. It's called Love Yourself Successful. This is a summit that's happening. It's about loving your life and your business. So it's that whole
Love Yourself Successful. And what's the date?
It's the 15th and 16th of February. It is a free event. I can drop the link in there too, but I'm going to be talking about how do you shift from hobby biz to thriving business. And it's actually the roadmap is 4 foundations you need to scale a business. And so this is something that I think is so valuable. If you're in that growth phase or you're contemplating some changes, this is the roadmap. It's a great opportunity, free tickets. You can watch the downloads until the 2nd
Let me
of
see.
March.
I'm going to look it up here. And just while I'm here, I'll get it posted. Love yourself, successful.
Love yourself, successful. Here, I'll drop you.
Yeah, cool.
That's the link to register for tickets. And
Perfect.
it's a great resource. Like, this isn't a free event for entrepreneurs specifically looking for growth. There's 28 speakers. It's amazing. There's tons of value in the giveaways, which are separate. But that's would be a thing is, if you need some resources, talk to Chris.
Awesome. You got to start somewhere, And I love that idea going from hobby to business, right? So we got it here. It's a long URL. I put it in the chat. So whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, wherever, you'll be able to click on it. And just if you have any questions for Christine, she's out there. She's available. There's her website. We got a tool for you guys to download to kind of help you get sorted out and sort through your own thoughts. And then, of course, we'll see everybody in the virtual world. If you have any questions for anybody, just feel free to reach out to us. We're out here. We're real. So thank you so much for joining us.
We want you to know it's possible for you. Live your dreams. It's possible. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks. We'll talk soon. Take care.